Politics. I really tried to fix the audio. It's a little soft. I understand that. It wasn't working with the headphones. I thought it would make it louder, but it didn't. So this is what you're going to have to deal with for right now. I don't have any other extra gear. I need to get a mic or something, so I don't have it right now. But please work with me here. I'm sorry if it's a little low. I will try and speak up. You hear it? Cool. Go check out Jordan's Standing Rock videos. Go check out Eric's Trump videos. TYT Politics. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez, tell everybody that you gotta know. TYT Politics. You guys hear me? Cool. All right. So, WikiLeaks, as always, releasing new stuff every day. They had a Department of Justice Huma Abedin special that I didn't get to right away because I am still backlogged on other WikiLeaks and other stuff. So I'm going to keep updating you guys as they come. But right now I'm going to be dealing with, I believe, part 26. Oh, God, the parts. It's like a Goosebumps series. Or what? A series of unfortunate events is probably a better analogy. Just they keep coming. Part 27 is what I'm going to be dealing with. So, I will get right into it, as I know that you guys are tired of hearing me yammer on and plug everything on the channel. Subscribe to TYT Politics. Have you heard? I don't know if you've heard yet. Okay, so, Hillary Clinton and her campaign worked to rig, I don't say that word lightly. You know that I'm cautious about trying to blame the Hillary Clinton campaign for doing stuff that was really shady but wasn't rigging. This is pretty much rigging and using all of the cards in her arsenal, using everything in her favor to get a way more advantageous position over any potential challenger before she'd even decided to run, before Bernie Sanders had even decided to run in 2014. So I will read to you guys this email from Robbie Mook to Cheryl Mills, someone who I don't really know, and John Podesta. Cheryl Mills, by the way, her top aide, one of her top aides besides Huma Abedin. Robbie Mook is her campaign spokesman, and John Podesta is, of course, her campaign chair. So it starts off with, had a great meeting with Berman today. I looked into who Berman might be. It's just a guess, but it's a very educated guess. Jeff Berman is a superdelegate for Hillary Clinton, and I will refer to a Li Fang tweet from back in February. Li Fang is a wonderful journalist for The Intercept. Jeff Berman, he says, himself a superdelegate, is a former Geo Group lobbyist now paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign to round up superdelegates. Hashtag democracy. Li Fang being sarcastic there. So, essentially, Berman was a super delegate for Hillary Clinton. He was rounding up other super delegates to get them more involved and being more pro-Hillary Clinton. And he also was a lobbyist for Geo Group. And I don't actually know if this is the same company, but Huffington Post had an article about he was also a pro-Keystone XL lobbyist. So he was lobbying for the company that was building the Keystone XL pipeline, and he was a Hillary Clinton superdelegate and someone who had been working very closely with the Hillary Clinton campaign, as evidenced by this email. Had a great if this is the right Berman, which I believe it is, I will speculate. Had a great meeting with Berman today. We discussed him taking the lead on this strategy outlined in his memo. 1. Seeing if we can get Massachusetts and Vermont to push their primaries back. 2. Keep the big blue states, New York, New Jersey, California, etc., from moving their primaries earlier. And 3, trying to get Louisiana and West Virginia to join Super Tuesday. As we discussed in New York, keeping the red states early makes sense if she has a primary, as long as there isn't a primary competitor winning significant AA votes. But it also increases the likelihood that the Republicans will nominate someone extreme. If you recall, some of the emails that were released reveal that they were trying to push the Republicans into an extremist corner so her positions would look more progressive by comparison. It is something I don't really object to. That is maybe a little bit dishonest, but it's fine politics. We agreed that if she gets a significant primary challenger, we need to consider changing course and getting New York, New Jersey, and maybe others to move their dates earlier to give her hefty early wins. Jeff is going to put together action items for each state that we will review. We may need allies to help in this process, but we are going to look at each state one step at a time, limiting as much possible the perception of direct intervention by the principals. So limiting the possibility that people perceive that the principals, meaning them, are interfering when they are actually interfering. So they have their fingerprints all over this, but they want everyone to think that their fingerprints aren't all over this. Have you ever heard of an analogy or a situation that's more obviously Clinton? That phrase has Clinton fingerprints all over it. I'll continue with the email. On absentees for caucuses, he said Iowa has come up with a proposal. It sounds like they will agree to some change, but it may be gradual, i.e. some in 2016, more in 2020. I don't think it's in anyone's interest right now for a big fight over this. I told him to make sure HRC and WJC, Hillary and Bill, would prefer as inclusive a change as possible, and I think there's an organized benefit, blah, 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 blah. So, they worked with this Clinton, basically surrogate, who is a superdelegate, who, according to Lee Fang of The Intercept, was a superdelegate of superdelegates, rounding up all the Clinton superdelegates and banding them together, #democracy, again. And he was working early on to make sure that the primary process was more advantageous for Hillary Clinton. Of course, it's the most Clinton thing that you will ever hear. The thing about it is just that it's not necessarily anti-Bernie, it's anti-anyone else. I'm sorry, I hope this, it looks like there's some issues with the stream, but it's anti-anyone else. So, anybody that's gonna challenge the presumptive nominee, Hillary Clinton, fuck off. This is our nomination. This is our turn. Why, pesky Bernie, pesky Joe Biden? Why do you even give a shit? I almost forgot about Martin O'Malley. Oh, Jim Webb. She was so worried about Jim Webb. God, if only Jim Webb was the nominee. I need more time. Do you guys remember that? But, come on, that's what the problem is with the Democratic establishment, is it's become the Clinton establishment. Whatever Hillary Clinton wants, and whatever is advantageous to her, how can I help you, ma'am? How can I help you, Bill Clinton? How can I help you? How can we make this as pro-Clinton as possible? Because she's so cozy with the donors that we need. Those Bernies, those progressives, those Elizabeth Warrens, they are not the heart and soul of the party. While the Democrats shit on their base and say, let's be more corporatist and go with a Clinton-type nominee, the Republicans embrace them. And that's why you have Donald Trump. You have someone who is living and breathing the base. He is a direct product of that base, for better or for worse. But if we had a populist candidate on the other side that was a product of our base, aka Bernie Sanders, look who would be wiping the floor with them now. By the way, Hillary Clinton, I will do an update on polls later, not looking good. I wonder why. I wonder when you run a corporatist candidate up against a populist, a monster populist, what do you get? I'm off on a tangent. Am I still talking about the WikiLeaks? Where am I? I've lost my mind. Here's another very interesting one. This is from Robbie Mook to Jennifer Palmieri and John Podesta and Joel Benenson, all the higher-ups in the Hillary Clinton campaign. This is just talking about the media. It just goes to show how they operate. I think, though, as soon as we do it, we probably need to dial up what we feed them, since there are other people giving them lots of content, and they'll just go back to them if we don't. Jen and I defer if waiting a week helps us in that regard. Sorry, guys, my dog. But basically, Hillary Clinton and her campaign have an issue with just feeding information to the press. But it's not just Hillary Clinton. What this email shows is that they need to keep up with the other leaks that are going on. It's a systemic problem. Yes, the Clintons are very cozy with the media, But it's not just the Clintons. And it shows that all of Washington, they're just, jerking each other off. It's a circle jerk. Hillary Clinton is a part of that very system. She embodies that system. And that's why she's a terrible candidate. So, another just small revelation from WikiLeaks. And let me... Here, okay, now I really want to end with this because there's a lot of nuggets in this memo. So this is the Bernie Sanders critique memo. This outlines how they are going to criticize Bernie Sanders. I can't read to you the whole memo. I just can't. There's too much. But I wanted to point out a few things because it enlightens me about her hypocrisy. So, this is under the revolution. So they take Bernie Sanders' strengths and they dissect them one by one, how they can have talking points against those strengths. Perfectly reasonable, honestly, for a politician to do. You want to understand the opposition. You want to you want to have a good response to them. I totally get that. But how they twist it is just very interesting, and I don't think a lot of us are going to agree that any of this has factual basis. So, so first they talk about 1, the Bernie message. 2, the Bernie plan. 3, Bernie's electability is another point. 4, the revolution. 5, Bernie is a different kind of politician. These are all of his strengths. 6, Bernie is on the path to win the nomination. 7, Bernie versus the establishment. And then they have a conclusion. So, I'm just going to read to you some nuggets from here. This is under the revolution, so they want to counter that we need a revolution. They say, it's easy to think that a political revolution is just another Bernieism, a great soundbite with no details behind it. But actually it's more. It's his way of allowing you to believe all of his other great soundbites with no details could happen when you know they won't. That actually reminds me of someone else. I'm with her has a lot of details in it. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Hillary Clinton? What are you talking about? He's the politician without any details? Like, what kind of matrix world are we living in? I understand. Yes, it's politics. It's politics. You gotta spin. But your spin is lies. That's the difference. It's not just looking at a different side of an argument and saying, this is how this goes, this is how this goes, This is you actually just, having no self-awareness. And then this is under Bernie is a different kind of politician. This is a longer section I want to read to you in its ridiculousness. He doesn't have a PAC. This is when that's what they're saying. He does have a PAC. He doesn't have a PAC, relies on small contributors to fund his campaign, and doesn't run attack ads. He doesn't play by the rules as they are, but by the rules as they should be. We wish all politicians were like him. That is what he tells us. But once again, his great-sounding words have one little problem, the facts. Bernie tells people that he doesn't have and won't have a super PAC, and then proceeds to attack Secretary Clinton because her super PAC has raised millions from Wall Street. Her. He sounds so noble, but once again, the facts don't match the soundbite. Candidates can't have super PACs. Super PACs are independent groups, not directed by a candidate or a campaign committee. So there's no her super PAC, and he couldn't have one if he wanted to. Now we go back to the WikiLeaks that I just reported on yesterday, which shows that she has direct collusion and coordination with her super PACs, which is, by the way, illegal, set up by Citizens United, which she claims to be against. The, taco of hypocrisy. There's so many different flavors of hypocrisy in this particular statement. One, you're saying that you're against Citizens United, so why are you, listing their guidelines as someone to, as to say that we're actually, we're legal here, we're doing the right thing. 2, you actually did coordinate with your super PAC, and it's plain as the nose on my face, it's plain as the emails on Julian Assange's server that he's uploaded to the internet, and we all know. So that's a lie. And thirdly, Bernie's super PACs. I wonder who donates to Bernie's super PACs. I would love to look it up and compare the record of his super PAC contributors to your super PAC contributors. Um, so now the last part of this. Okay, here we go. Bernie is on the path to win the nomination. This must have been when he was surging. So this is some of their opposition research about him. Looking at multiple polls, the following patterns appear. 1. Bernie overperforms among Democratic activists, meaning he will do well in contests where activists dominate, i.e. caucuses. Activists. He did do well in caucuses. They were correct about that one. 2. Bernie does well with liberal independents. You know, you needed that written down. This means he will overperform in states that have open processes as opposed to closed processes. So you guys favor the closed processes, right? So that's what that means. That means that you do better when less people can participate in the democratic process. It's a great side to be on, I think. You know, you guys sense my sarcasm. 3. Bernie overperforms in New England states. Love New England. Don't love their sports teams. 4. Go Giants. 4. Bernie overperforms in states that have a history of elected liberals candidates to statewide offices. Okay. 5. Bernie overperforms in states that don't look like America. Meaning, with no significant populations of African Americans or Latinos. So I wonder where that talking point came from, right, guys? And lastly, I will end on this. This is how they conclude on Senator Sanders. Ooh, juicy. Senator Sanders and his campaign have done an incredible job. For someone who hasn't been a Democrat a single day in his life, which is, by the way, the same thing that they said, that the Democratic establishment said when they removed Tulsi Gabbard's funding for endorsing him. So they're not a fan if you haven't been loyal to the Democratic gods. He has energized millions of Democrats. He has raised the profile of critical issues that desperately need to be addressed. He has built a national political campaign from nothing. So I'll give the Clinton campaign credit that they, in rhetoric at least, were actually fairly decent to Bernie, but behind the scenes they were not, obviously. Senator Sanders is a good progressive. He shares our values. He embraces our goals. He does not share your values. The problem is that Senator Sanders cares more about words than actions. Who does that sound like? Sounds like you're projecting a little bit. He cares more about sound bites than facts. He cares more about visions than plans. He cares more about assigning blame than fixing problems. He has been a creature of Congress for a quarter century. This is literal projection. It's clear that Senator Sanders has mastered the skill of saying things that grab people's attention and inspires them. God forbid. It's also clear that he won't let facts or reality get in the way. So if the president comes down to great speeches, Senator Sanders might be a great choice. You're right. The infinitely charismatic Cory Booker. I mean Bernie Sanders, right? Like the handsome young ingenue Bernie Sanders. When it comes to making speeches, he's amazing. Bernie, was not that good of a speaker. Let's be real here, guys. As much as we love him, it's not like he was an Adonis up there just enticing us with every word. Brad Pitt wasn't giving me a sermon. This wasn't Alec Baldwin. Now I'm telling you my celebrity crushes. It just kind of came out. Bernie's not like Obama. He's not Obama. I bet they could have just copy and pasted this from 2008. By the way, okay, sorry, my ranting, it gets in the way of everything. So if the presidency comes down to great speeches, Senator Sanders might be a great choice, but it comes down to plan, actions, accomplishments, experience, leadership. He has a long way to go. So I'm just so amused because Bernie was known as the Amendment King. That means that what happens is you get things done. You literally are passing amendments through bills, bipartisan bills, and actually getting things done. And the fact that he was the most progressive senator in Congress, in the Senate, is unbelievable. How could the most progressive, independent, at that time, at most of the time, most progressive person in the Senate get all this through with all of this obstruction? Known as the Amendment King. Yet, when it comes down to, according to the Clinton campaign, when it comes down to plans, actions, accomplishments, experience, or leadership, he has a long way to go. I wonder who has a long way to go. In my opinion. She'll be a leader, certainly. Just, what are you leading for? So, that's really all I have for you guys. I will be updating you on more of the week of. Sorry, see, perfect. My battery's dying. So I will be updating you as much as I can tomorrow. I want to do a Trump story because he's surging in the polls. It's happening, guys. This is the establishment thought this was going to be a landslide. When has the establishment ever been wrong? I'm just counting. Just counting right now. It's gonna take me a while. It's gonna take me a while. Guys, we can't. The videos would take too long to count how many times the establishment was wrong. So, have a great day, my friends, and I will be updating you soon. Look, it's my thumb.